Hello everyone, welcome back to Sports Khabri. With me are Adi and Rishi, and we're here to preview the ICC T20 Men's World Cup 2024. Of course, the IPL is done, and it's a very short turnaround to the World Cup. A lot of exciting T20 action to look forward to. It's the biggest T20 World Cup so far. 20 teams. The format looks like this: top two from each group qualify for the Super Eights, and from there on, you have two teams from two groups of four qualifying for the semi-final. That's a single leg knockout, and then you play the final, and then you have the winner. So it's a long tournament, guys, compared to some of the other T20 World Cups we've seen, and it looks very interesting. We'll of course discuss India first because we have to, and then we'll discuss who we think will qualify from each group and all of that. But let's quickly take a look at India's group before we start discussing them. It's Canada, India, Ireland, Pakistan, and USA. On paper, pretty straightforward. Rishi, you think for India to qualify from this group to the Super 8 at least?
No, it like you said, it looks like a pretty straightforward group, and the only probably challenging teams that can give a fight to India are probably Pakistan and Ireland. And to be fair, US has won the series against Bangladesh, but again, considering the amount of experience that the Indian players have, I don't think any of the teams can pose that much of a threat to India, at least in the group stages.
Yep, we'll talk about the makeup of the squad. I think, at least at this stage, I don't think there's much of an argument to be had with regards to India's chances of qualification, Adi. But in terms of the squad, anything that you found to be missing, anything that you would have liked to see probably done a little differently?
Yeah, I think maybe I would say, in terms of squad, I think more of it is more like the players we've taken in, especially the batters. I just don't think they're all been in form throughout, especially the IPL we've seen. You can see with Jaiswal, you can see it even with Rohit Sharma. Surya Kumar Yadav has been a bit inconsistent, and also Shivan Dubey a bit inconsistent, but he's risen up for the CSK team, and especially Hardik Pandya had a very poor season. And in terms of that, it's more of okay. There are players who, in terms of form, have been lacking. Even Pant, even though he had a decent IPL, it's again the international exposure, playing against international teams. He hasn't played over the past 1.5 years, and getting him into the squad directly, into the World Cup directly, it's a big risk. You can always say class is permanent, so India's stuck with their choice of players who've been performing for India for a long time. So it's more about form is concerning more than the selection itself.
Yeah, 100%. I think the same goes for Hardik Pandya, Rishi. Concerning selection because of form, hasn't played in a while. Same with Rishabh Pant. Let's just quickly go through the squad. Rohit Sharma, Hardik Pandya, Yashasvi Jaiswal, Virat Kohli, Surya Kumar Yadav, Rishabh Pant, Sanju Samson, Shivam Dubey, Ravindra Jadeja, Akshar Patel, Kuldeep Yadav, Yuzi Chahal, Arshdeep Singh, and Jasprit Bumrah and Mohammad Siraj. So, from a bowling perspective, I think it looks pretty obvious that it's going to be the three quicks who have been named. We have only three quicks: Arshdeep Singh, Jasprit Bumrah, and Mohammad Siraj, with the two spinners being Kuldeep Yadav and Ravindra Jadeja. You agree? You think this is the makeup of our bowling, and then you have a sixth bowling option in an all-rounder? You think this is what it's going to be, or do you see anything else happening?
I don't see anything else happening, although I would have liked to have another pacer in the squad, because under no circumstance with the squad that we have, I don't think there are going to be three spinners playing in the first place. And we have, including Jaddu, we have 1, 2, 3, that's 4 spinners. So I don't know what purpose that extra spinner plays for us, because we're going to have one wrist spinner and one off, like Jadeja's. I don't think he's going to get dropped unless it's going to be an injury issue. So we have one wrist spinner spot. But there's Akshar, Yuzvendra Chahal, and KD in the squad. So I don't know how much of that we're going to use. Although one thing for sure is we're going to use all three pacers. So if we had one alternative, if at least one pacer is misfiring, we could have brought that in. So if we had someone like an Avesh Khan, you could see how well he was bowling in the IPL as well. So I feel that would have given us an extra option to keep.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that's the problem that we have. regardless. The reserves are Shubman Gill, Rinku Singh, Khalil Ahmed, and Havish Khan. So yeah, unless there is an injury, you of course won't bring them in. But this is the makeup of the squad. Let's quickly discuss the batting lineup because I think the bowling picks itself. There's not too much conversation to be had. But batting at the top, Adi, Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli to open. I'm guessing for you.
I actually don't know if they would go with these two pairs as opening, because previously also I don't think we've ever seen Virat Kohli opening for India as such in entirety of his career. Even you talk about him opening for RCB over the past 4, 5 years, 6 years. I mean, actually, to be fair, a long time. But apart from that, he's never opened for India in terms of consistent basis, especially in the T20 World Cup. And again, Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli have never opened together, consistently, whether even, as an opening pair. So I still think Jaiswal will end up opening because I just don't think India trusts the number three position to anyone apart from Virat. I don't think you can push Virat up the order and then give someone else, right? So I still expect Jaiswal to be opening with Rohit Sharma. Plus, they have been opening a lot over the past 1 year, especially since last year's IPL. They've built a bit of rapport, so I think they'll continue with that. They didn't want to change anything for now. Maybe if Jaiswal drops his form in the group stage, or if he's struggling, then that's the only way I can see some changes being made. And as we know, this is a very long tournament, so surprises can happen. But for the starting, I expect Jaiswal to open with Rohit Sharma. And then again, you have your Virat Kohli coming number 3, Sky number 4. I think it's going to be the normal batting lineup we've seen for India over the past, 1-2 years. I don't think there's going to be surprises in terms of Samson coming in, or maybe even Shivam Dubey. They're going to be in the subs. I just believe that. I think Pant will still be playing, etc. So it's going to be the same batting lineup.
Rahul, you're on.
Yeah, I think 5 and 6 is a lock in. Like Adi said, I think Pant and Pandya play this no matter what. Unfortunately, however you look at it, Pandya
But
is
how? Like, so you're telling me
Pandya is
Samson
the
doesn't
vice
start?
captain. Pandya is the vice captain of the team. So this is
Yeah,
what
yeah.
I think could happen. I think Pant and Pandya play for sure. There's unfortunately no choice. It's not my pick, but this is what I think India will do. There's no way they're going to drop Pandya.
So realistically, what's the batting lineup?
Yeah, exactly. For me, I think Pant and Pandya 5 and 6. At number 4, you play Sky. These three will play no matter what. Rohit Sharma will play. Virat Kohli will play. So it's just the toss up between you want to play Yashasvi Jaiswal or have Sanju Samson at 3. You open with Samson, or you open with Jaiswal, or you play Samson at 3 and allow Virat Kohli to open. That's the only thing I think you can really discuss here. There's nothing else. But for me, I would go with Samson at 3 and have Virat open the batting because just the way he's done so well in the IPL and he's done so well in the power plays. So yeah.
Yeah, but at least by the looks of how both of their IPLs went, I think at least in the group stages, Samson will be given a chance and Pant might be.
Probably, yeah. No, like, I don't think that's possible at all, Rishi. Like, there's no way they're going to drop Pant. They wouldn't pick him otherwise. Like, there's no way he's not going to play. I just don't see that happening. But yeah, I mean, let's see. It's going to be interesting to see India's makeup as the tournament progresses. Group A, guys, pretty straightforward from this group. Canada, India, Ireland, Pakistan, and USA. Who goes through for you? For me, it's India and Pakistan, unless Pakistan managed to somehow do their magic and let Ireland go through. But yeah, Adi?
I think it's the same. I think India, Pakistan will go in.
India, Pakistan, yeah.
It's going to be a bit comfortable. Maybe you can only find an upset for Pakistan, an upset loss. But I think they will also end up, whatever happens, they'll go towards the Super 8 for sure.
Okay. Rishi, upsets for Pakistan because they're more than capable of it.
I mean, yeah, they're more than capable of it. And the Ireland team really look like they are up for it also. And as much as I think that Pakistan will go through, I think Ireland will give them a run for their money.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough. Moving on to Group B, guys. It's Australia, England, Namibia, Oman, and Scotland. I think the two favorites are, of course, Australia and England, but Scotland have shown that they can be, very sort of canny characters. Wyatt with those left armers. I think he is somebody who's quite good, and they've got some batting at the top of the order as well. Are these straightforward for you, or do you think Scotland can throw in a few surprises?
I mean, again, I think it's going to be straightforward. I think it's going to I'm sure all over the world, we everyone thinks at least till the Super Eights, most of it is going to be straightforward. I don't think Australia, England are just a class apart in terms of their team, their squad, their players, quality, etc. I think it's going to be an easy win, and the top two is going to be obviously Australia and England from my side. I don't think there would be any upset, especially with this group. So yeah.
Fair enough, Rishi. You agree?
Yeah, I don't think there's any upsets, or at least there might be one of odd games, but I think they comfortably go through Australia and England.
I think this is my favorite group. Group C: Afghanistan, New Zealand, Papua New Guinea, Uganda, and West Indies. Actually, it's not my favorite group. Next one is, but yeah, it's an interesting group because you don't know what West Indies are going to turn up. That's the problem, because Afghanistan have been more consistent than the West Indies in the past few years, but you just never know what kind of a West Indies team you're going to get. They've got so much power in their batting. Nicholas Puran, Andre Russell, Rovman Powell, Shimran Hetmeyer, Romario Shepherd, all of them can bat. Shea Hope, if you want a bit of class. Adi, with all that might, do you see who are the top two for you? I think New Zealand is a lock-in, but amongst the two others, Afghanistan and West Indies, who do you think goes through?
For me, I would still put West Indies there because of the experience they've had, and plus they're going to play their home tournament. It's going to be a place where they've played a lot of cricket. All these guys have come up in these areas, so I'm sure they're going to understand the conditions better than anyone else. Not much cricket happens in West Indies apart from the West Indies themselves playing in that area, so that's always going to be an advantage. Plus, the raw power, and everyone most of their players also having a very good IPL, in terms of the key players, Puran, Pollard, etc. And quality wise, I still think they have a good depth of squad and with quality players. Again, I'd be surprised if they don't qualify. I wouldn't even be surprised if they come first, because again, this condition something they've been used to over a long period of time, and I just expect them to be the top two with New Zealand. The thing with Afghanistan is, like, I think the players at least over the IPL, what I could see, they have gone a bit down in terms of their performance, especially with Rashid Khan being their main player. Especially this IPL, he had a poor IPL. So in terms of form, also I would just back West Indies more.
Yep, fair enough. Rishi, you agree? Because Afghanistan have their own charm. They're of course so good with the ball, but maybe with the bat they're a little short.
If for me, I want to say, like, if anything, West Indies will have a little bit of that added pressure on them because they haven't performed that well over the years, with the experienced players having, with their internal politics, with their feud with the board. So all of that will be coming up to this, and this being their home tournament, I think a lot will be at stake for them. So there will be an added pressure. But also, when you look at that Afghanistan team, that does not look any way that it doesn't provide competition for these teams. Like New Zealand, of course, you could say with some certainty that they will qualify. But I think the second spot is up for grabs between West Indies and Afghanistan. Like, if anything, you could see, like, they have 6 to 7 bowling options. If anything, they are, you can say, a batsman or two short. And of course, you could have another, they could do with another extra batsman. But when it comes to bowling, at least I'm far more convinced of the Afghanistan team than I am with the West Indies team.
Okay, fair enough. So you're edging Afghanistan to go through then?
Yeah, I'm edging Afghanistan.
Okay, interesting. Okay, that's fun. I think Group D is another very interesting one. You've got, it's Bangladesh, South Africa, Sri Lanka, Nepal, and the Netherlands. Quite an interesting group. And I really can't predict this one, but you'd probably say South Africa go through with the might of their squad. But the other one is really tricky to pick between Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, and Netherlands. Adi, who do you have going through from here?
As you said, it's kind of tricky, in terms of Bangladesh, Sri Lanka. Over the years, Sri Lankan cricket standards have a bit decreased. And, you could say over the past 2-3 years, Bangladesh have taken a step ahead in terms of, performances in the World Cups and overall general cricketing standards also. So, again, it's going to be a difficult pick. Both of them. It depends on how. I think it would come down to a head-to-head game. because you would generally expect them to lose to South Africa, right? And then be the
Yeah.
other two teams. So I think it would come off to a one-off game where you have Sri Lanka, Bangladesh playing a World Cup game. So it's going to come off to like who can perform that day, who can show up that day, what kind of Sri Lanka shows up, what kind of Bangladesh shows up. So I would still edge Sri Lanka just a bit in terms
Okay.
of if I believe it's going to be a one-off game, especially what happened in last year's World Cup in India. I just edge Sri Lanka, to get the better of them in terms of that. But again, Bangladesh also are a pretty strong team. They have a pretty strong squad, so it's going to it's always in the air for me. I can't really tell either them or them because I believe it'll come off to the one-off game where they play each other head to head.
Okay. Rishi, completely. Are we writing off Netherlands because first time in a long time without Rolf van der Merwe, but still quite the squad. They've got Barcelona. I mean, all these guys who did well in the 50 World Cup. Scott Edwards, the captain, of course, Max O'Dowd. They've got the names there, guys who can be dangerous on their given day. I'm not too convinced with Sri Lanka as just as a unit. Of course, they've got the talent. They've got everyone. One in the Hasaranga captaining the team. Charita Sananga, Kusal Mendes, Pathum Nissankas, of course, he's been probably their most consistent player. And I think on paper, you'd probably say Sri Lanka, but what about Bangladesh and Netherlands? Because Bangladesh, again, of course, have had humiliating defeats of late. So where do you go with this?
I mean, Bangladesh have like traditionally been that side which could always, on paper, had bigger names than they'd show up on the pitch, right? I mean,
Yeah.
and even now they have their whatever problems they have within their dressing room. They had issues between Shakib Al Hassan and Mushfiqur Rahim, and of course Mushfiqur is not there. But surely they had. I mean, of course, you can say it is. They were probably taking it as a practice series, but the fact that they lost both the games to US is quite damning. Like you can't write past that. So not just for that fact, I really think Netherlands have a really promising squad to begin with. Like they have their captain Scott Edwards, Max O'Dowd, who are probably who are in good form. Of course, they are without their veteran stalwart spinner of Van der Merwe, but I still think they have a good enough squad to give a fight to these two teams. And I don't. If I had to pick a dark horse in this tournament, I probably would say Netherlands, who could finish either second or third. Yeah. I don't think they're finishing bottom of Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, and Netherlands.
Interesting. But who goes through for you?
I think Sri Lanka just about edged through.
Okay, fine. Adi, who goes through for you then between Sri Lanka and Bangladesh?
Yeah, as I said, I think I would take in Sri Lanka, obviously. Because again, when I talk about Sri Lanka as a team, they still have a lot of bowling depth and players who played IPL regularly, especially past 2-3 years again. And in terms of the spin options, they have two solid spinners, they have three good pacers, and they have, pretty decent batting lineup also, right? So I just would expect them quality wise, in terms of the players to just go through this for the top two with South Africa. But yeah, I mean, I still think Netherlands, even though they've all had, that fairy tale over the past last World Cup and now this World Cup also, when it comes to the quality, they're just a bit more short compared to, these kind of teams where they've had experience playing T20 all over, the world. But again, it's the T20 World Cup. You never know what happens.
True. I swear. I mean, it's going to be interesting. These are your predictions for the Super 8s. But if I had to ask you guys for a favorite, Rishi, who's your favorite to win this tournament? I'm just for the fun of it. I know it's going to be very close between South Africa, Australia, India probably, and England. But I'm just going to say South Africa for the fun of it because I just like the look of the squad. Who, according to you, is the favorite to win this?
If England can get their playing 11 right, I think England are right up there with anyone else.
Yep. Absolutely dangerous squad. Josh Butler, Johnny Bairstow, Harry Brook, Ben
you have
Phil
pretty
Scott,
much
Moeen Ali, Sam Curran, Will Jacks.
Other than South African batting lineup, I think England have the most batsmen going in full cylinders, coming off the IPL. So
Jofra Archer also back for them.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Jofra Archer for them is a huge boost.
Yep. Adi, who's favorites for you?
I would say favorites for top four than favorites for the World Cup because squad-wise, I think all of them are pretty. You can say each team have their own strengths and weaknesses. But when it comes to the top four, I would expect India be there, obviously.
Yep.
And also would expect England South Africa most likely will be the other, contention for the top four. I would like Sri Lanka. West Indies to be there in the top four since it's their home tournament, and it's been a long time since we've seen West Indies in the top four of anything. And I think last time they did anything was in the 2016 World Cup. Since then, it's been a downfall trend. They have players in form. They have a bit of youngsters there who can, prove themselves. Home tournament. I would expect them being there in their home stadiums, basically the entire tournament, to push them at least to the top four. So that would be my top four, in terms of at least West Indies being there in terms of just pure vibes and hopes.
No, I completely get it. I would love to see West Indies do something absolutely crazy in this tournament. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see for what they can do. I love the West Indies team. Always love them. But yeah, it's going to be fun, guys. We'll do more stuff as the tournament progresses, as we get into the matches. So yeah, stay tuned for everything with regards to the ICC T20 World Cup. This is our short preview of the tournament. Thanks, Adi Rishi, for joining in. Please like and share the videos, everyone, and do subscribe to Sports Khabri. We'll be back.